Welcome to the video, Triple Nipple Nick. The book matches the leaves. Today's book review, Deep Work by Cal Newport. Just finished it. So I'm going to start just by the context I had going into this video about deep work. And it is what it sounds like. This book is kind of a modern guide to doing deep work and meaningful, real productivity in today's world. And kind of going into this, I was familiar with the concept of dopamine fasting. And basically, if you're not familiar, the role that dopamine plays in our minds is to motivate us to do productive work. If you're extremely bored and you cut out social media, television, anything that's giving you this kind of free dopamine, that's just entertainment, which is something that all it does is just take in your attention and give you stimulation, give you dopamine. When you take all this out and you reprogram your mind, productivity becomes a lot more effortless. You're actually able to be productive for long stretches, and you'll actually gain deep fulfillment from it. And over the past few weeks, I've really been clearing out my life and cutting out all forms of free dopamine. And I've noticed that work is extremely fulfilling. It gives me just as much dopamine, except in a much healthier, better way. And along with feelings of deep fulfillment. And so you're not really living a worse life. Your brain takes some time to readjust when you cut out dopamine. And so I'm coming from that context. If you're watching this video, you probably already are familiar with that. But this book really kind of enhanced my understanding of deep work. And that was one of the big sections of the book, was embrace boredom, cut out social media. And if you want to learn more about that, just go look into dopamine detoxes and stuff like that. So moving on from that, in the book, what kind of specific things did I learn? One thing that I didn't really understand or hadn't really thought about is that even when I'm doing work and I'm not giving myself free dopamine, because I can be kind of ADHD, I'm often just jumping between tasks. And one thing this book explained is how there's a lingering, you can't really multitask. There's this lingering focus whenever we switch between tasks, and it can take a long time to really get our full attention on something. And so we can't be having our email open, checking on other things, jumping between tasks to really do deep, focused work. And to really get into a task, you need to block out a section of time and avoid all distractions, even if they're productive distractions. And another part of this book was the importance of scheduling. And of course, scheduling is flexible. It's good to be flexible, but just the importance of setting a time that you're going to work on something. And even setting limits that are hard to meet, so that you don't really have time to be distracted, to go focus on other things. And at first, it's going to take immense willpower. For me, it was very difficult to cut all these sources of free dopamine out of my life. But maybe it kind of feels like a few days to a week, and then your brain is reprogrammed. And you're getting so much fulfillment out of, say, reading books. I'm reading 2 books a week right now, that you really don't miss it, and it's not hard. And so yeah, you need to cut out all distractions like social media and things like this. If you can't, I've actually kept my social media. I haven't blocked it off or anything, but I've just been able to build the habit of not going on it, which is really hard to do. And so if you can't do that, you might need to just take a hard break. And then when you go back to it, say, why am I opening my phone right now? Why am I going on this? If there's not a reason, you're just doing it habitually. You're just doing it for the dopamine. And you'll start to realize that you just go and open your Instagram Reels without even thinking about it. And so why are we doing deep work? Is it just to become productive monsters, making more money for ourselves or for our boss? Perhaps, but also maybe we want to do more meaningful work, more efficiently, so that we can get done what we want to have done, and then actually rest. And so one important idea that Cal Newport brought up in this book was how effective it is to have a hard limit. So you finish your work, and then when you finish your work, you're done. And you set a time when you're done at the end of the day. And this can really help increase the quality of our work, while also allowing us to have adequate rest and put more time into things that we really care about. And so I'm just going to go into some more specific things. So there's the blocking out your time. There's what he calls a shutdown ritual at the end of the night, or at the end of the work day. you're not going to be able to avoid shallow work. You're going to have to answer emails still, but he just says block this into another time. Have time that you're doing deep, focused work, separate, blocked out. And I probably should have gone earlier into more depth about what deep work is. And deep work is not something you could train someone else to do quickly. It's something that requires your specific skill set and is extremely cognitively demanding. It's the kind of thing that's really going to last in our world where AI is taking over, and all these tasks, all these just responding to emails, doing basic research, unless you're doing in-depth research, but like all these simple tasks really aren't going to last. But what is going to last is your ability to do deep work in a field that you care about. And he kind of goes into a lot of these excuses we use. So pretty much any social media you're using, you can find some excuse for why it's important, what it's doing for your productivity and for your work life, or whatever area of your life. And Cal Newport asks you to kind of do an audit and say how much is this actually adding, and what other deep tasks could fulfill the same role. And kind of to start, you should start with your goals. What do you want to accomplish when you're working? And then what are, like, say, the few most important tasks that are going to get you to that goal? And then focus on those. And everything else you can schedule in other blocks, but you don't need to do it beyond what's necessary, and so you should really focus on deep work. And so I'd say the key takeaways from this book are, don't just focus on working hard, but working smart, and not just going all day, continuing to work. Like, I can really tell if I'm really focused, I can get done what I could get done in 2 days. And at a certain point, you need to just realize maybe it's time that I take some rest, or maybe I've distracted myself too much. My dopamine system is fried. I have too much lingering attention on all these other small tasks. Maybe I need to finish these small tasks, put some finality into them, take some rest, and then tomorrow I'll set up some time to work on these deep issues. Another thing that Cal Newport talks about is between work, how he actually brought up a study that the subconscious mind, I can't remember what kind of problem solving it was, but they had some people really think about a task and some other people not think about the task at hand. And I don't know what they weren't just like being stimulated, but I think they went for a walk or something. And then at the end, they were asked to provide their best answer. And the people whose subconscious mind was allowed to work on the task actually fared better. And so you might hit a point, and you'll get a sense of this, where you're just not able to work deeply on a topic anymore. And at that point, it's good to end it. So yeah, I'd say the key takeaways from this book probably were some things that I was already familiar with, but it just gave me more guidance on how to really implement it. And that's just the importance in our modern society. Dopamine has been hijacked for consumerist purposes. Most people are just watching television all day, watching TikTok and stuff. And when your dopamine system is what allows you to complete tasks and gain fulfillment from that. And when our dopamine system is being hijacked in this way, whether it's for work, forming meaningful relationships, spirituality, whatever kind of things you want to pursue in your life, and this isn't just about productivity for the sake of making money, this is about living the kind of life you want to live in every domain. These things are really just robbing not just your time, but your whole motivation system. So even if you're watching TikTok 3 hours a day, I would say 24 hours a day, you're completely unable to engage meaningfully in the activities you want to engage in. And I've found my brain is completely rewired after a few weeks of just really cutting out these things. And so I would encourage you, if you want to focus on deep work, this is not just like, oh, turn off your phone, go focus for a few hours on what you want to work on. This is really a long-term plan for restructuring your brain, restructuring the way you live your life, and doing all of your work and activities very consciously, intelligently. Yeah. So if you like this video, I would say the book is definitely worth reading. It's a great book. It's a classic. Please like, subscribe. Any comments you have, any questions, anything you want me to answer, any comment you make, I'll make a video about it if you're curious about any topic. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Bye.